Hey everyone, if anyone is watching this, um, I never in my life wanted to be making a video like this. Um, it sucks. It's a day that from a year on now, I'll be mourning. Stan Lee has left this world, unfortunately, and I barely have the words. I decided to make this video and make it alive so I wouldn't be bothered to edit anything because I just wanted to get my raw, I guess, feelings and thoughts across. Um, I loved comic books. Doesn't matter, Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, Vertigo, Boom Studios, whatever. Even manga is a comic book. If you want to look at it that way. I've loved comic books ever since I have memory. These superhero characters that for more than half my life have been looked at with a side eye. And us, comic book fans, have been looked at with a side eye. They helped shape the person that I am today. In terms of how I carry myself socially, in terms of, I apologize for this, in terms of how I view myself, in terms of what I believe, and even in terms of my creativity. I like to think at least, I like to think that for most people who Stan Lee has meant anything, or to whom any comic book creator, Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, Ed Brubaker, anyone, writer, penciler, whatever, I like to think that they help us in this manner, so to speak. Stan Lee, in many ways, again, along with Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and whatnot, they were real superheroes. Because again, for more than half our lives, if you've loved comic book or anything geek or anything nerd, you didn't find much support in general society. That's it. And these comic books and these characters have helped us when we felt most alone. We felt in our moments of most fragility. These characters, and by proxy, their creators, the people who drew these comic books and who wrote the words in the balloons, they were there for us. They were the people who were willing to hear us in some way, metaphorically speaking, and they were the people who were there to inspire us to believe in a brighter day tomorrow and to inspire our creative side and show what these stories can actually do. So that's why I'm happy that nowadays, and thanks to Stan Lee in many regards, we have such a thing as worldwide acclaimed as well as critically acclaimed comic book movies. And in many ways, they still get the side eye. Don't get me wrong, I'm at film school right now. I still hear a lot of these films getting the side eye because they're superhero movies. And I can safely say I got millions of people standing behind me when I raise my hand in class and tell my teachers that they're wrong. Because these are just as legitimate stories and just as legitimate characters like any other. You want to go watch a drama? Yeah, these films, the ones that work because there's a good foundation of dramatic and of real human emotion behind it. Look at Thor. Many people don't like the first Thor, I get, but listen to what I'm saying. The first Thor is mainly, and that's why many people don't like it, many superhero fans don't like it, is mainly a human story. Just give an example. Thor is not even my favorite comic book movie of all time. It's just the best example, kind of, that I can give. As well as Man of Steel. Again, not many people like that. I think it's a masterpiece because most of it is a story that can actually humanize Superman. A character that he hasn't had much luck in terms of being humanized, being seen as someone with flaws, just like ourselves, human beings. Let me just see if someone is typing in the chat. Okay, I open the chat. So, it's a day that I didn't want it to come. To the point where I didn't even think of this day. I mean, oh, what will be like in the day that Stan Lee passes away? I just thought that, yeah, I'm going to mourn on that day. And from then on, there are some people that I idolize that I will mourn the day they pass away. And Stan Lee is one of them, 12th of November, 2018. Thankfully, he lived a full life. He got to see his creations come to life in so many different ways. Animated shows, motion comics. You got to see his legacy when he wasn't effectively writing Black Panther, Fantastic Four, Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Men. You got to see people pick it up and carry on his legacy even when he was still alive. Because in many ways, the writers and the creators who are themselves legendary by this point, they were inspired by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and many of the firsts who started what now are legendary characters and legendary stories. And he got to kind of live in the same world with these characters through his cameos in the films. Be them Fox movies, or Sony, or eventually the MCU. What am I going to say? This man, he brought something to the world. I think that's a good way to put it. He brought something immeasurable, something I don't know what the word is, but something that cannot be equaled to the world. Didn't do it alone. Some of them he did alone. Some of them he didn't do it at all. He got to live such a fantastic life. And from his creativity, sense of humor, his way to tell stories, he knew what his strengths were, what his weaknesses were, and therefore he got people to do the parts of doing a comic book that he couldn't do. Let me stop this from vibrating. Now going back a little bit to my personal experience, not many people have the impact in my life that Stan Lee had. My passion for movies and for not for movies, but for Marvel as films, for Star Wars, for basically so many nerdy things that I love, so many elements of nerd pop culture. They started with Stan Lee, they started with Spider-Man, they started with the Hulk, they started with X-Men, with Fantastic Four, with Iron Man, with Thor, with Batman, which I know it wasn't involved in, but comic books. I'm talking comic books in general. Uh, and I don't know. There's no segue to end this or to say there's so many things that I want to say and so many things that I want to say said because I won't remember anything. I won't remember lots of things that I want to say here. I won't. I won't. The words won't come to mind. It's just a bad day. This day sucks. Uh, it's a bad way to start off a week. But it would be a bad day no matter what it came in. It could be a Friday. I could be partying and taking me out. And it would bring me back here to just vent my thoughts on video to you. I love Stan Lee. It's one of the people that sadly I'll never be able to meet. But since we're talking about Stan Lee and talking about like, his creations and whatnot, I can share here with however many people are watching, if many people are watching. Okay, we got 4 viewers. I don't know if that counts with me because I'm technically watching the video, but I can share with you that maybe I won't be able to meet this gentleman, to my eternal sorrow and sadness that I won't. But at least I'll be able to celebrate his legacy. Later this month, I'll be going to a Marvel exhibit at the ExCeL in London. I will dedicate that video, whatever I do with kind of vlog that I do from there. I will dedicate that video to Stan Lee because I wouldn't be going to that if it wasn't for Stan Lee. If he hadn't created what he created, if his creations weren't so celebrated as they are. And again, I apologize for the noise. I don't live alone. But yeah, I think that's it. I think this was just a way for me to not speak to a wall, but speak to anyone who might be watching. Or who might watch this as it says on YouTube. So, thank you, Stan Lee. I've always wanted to tattoo Excelsior on my body somewhere. I thought the chest, but maybe I'll tattoo it somewhere else. I think now it's forcefully kind of the right time. So up until the end of the year, I think I might tattoo Excelsior on me somewhere. For Stan Lee, rest in peace, sir. You are the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Thank you to the million creators who picked up on his legacy, be it from comic books, be it for animated series, for animated movies, for TV shows, live action. Man, he lived the life that we won't live a fraction of. That's for sure. He's Stan the Man, he is Stan the Generalissimo, and he will live on forever because what he created, again, is immeasurable. What he created is stuff of legend. It's stuff that cannot be equaled. And he taught us to believe in ourselves. He taught us that we have flaws and We can live with those flaws. Those flaws can actually make us better as we go along in this crazy journey called life. So thank you, Sam, for it.